Hey everyone, I'm back with another update. In this episode, I'll cover news related to anti-ICE activity, Minnesota immigration enforcement, fraud, endorsements, and President Trump's trip to Iowa. Of course, I'll end with the noteworthy tidbits. Virginia County Board Chair Matt DeFerranti is facing calls for a criminal investigation after he instructed people to call 911 on ICE agents, and Virginia Senator Saddam Salim filed legislation to ban any law enforcement cooperation with ICE and to protect anti-ICE agitators. Bob Ferguson, the governor of Washington, is openly colluding with criminal anti-ICE groups that run plates and pull personal information, and people are calling for a criminal investigation into Philadelphia District Attorney Krasner for promising to hunt down ICE agents, calling them wannabe Nazis. Last for this topic, NYPD arrested anti-ICE rioters for storming into a hotel chanting, "Kristi Noem will hang." On to Minnesota immigration enforcement. President Trump sent Border Czar Tom Homan to Minnesota to take over immigration enforcement operations, with Border Commander Greg Bovino being sent to continue his duties elsewhere. Questions have been raised since it was Trump's decision and not DHS Secretary Kristi Noem's, but Trump assured those who asked if he's losing confidence in Noem or if she's about to step down that she's getting results and he's very happy with her performance. DHS Assistant Secretary Tricia McLaughlin confirmed that Noem will oversee the DHS and Homan will oversee Minneapolis. Governor Tim Walz called President Trump requesting they work together with respect to Minnesota, and Trump said the phone call went well and that he told Walz he would have Homan call him. Trump also spoke on the phone with Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey in a conversation that reportedly went well, and Homan met with Frey the following day to continue the discussion. Homan also met with Walz, and the two agreed on the need for an ongoing dialogue, which Trump also agreed with. Trump said he asked Walz and Frey to hand over the criminal illegals instead of releasing them from jail, and it's been confirmed that Minnesota jails released 470 criminal illegal aliens last year alone. Walz announced he's going to start coordinating with federal immigration enforcement on violent criminals, and War Secretary Pete Hegseth approved a Customs and Border Protection request to use space at Fort Snelling, Minnesota, to house immigration agents, vehicles, aircraft, and equipment, according to the San Francisco Chronicle. Cam Higbee infiltrated organizational signal chat groups all around Minneapolis with the sole intention of tracking down federal agents and assaulting, impeding, and obstructing them, and Data Republican exposed that foreign dollars are involved in these groups. FBI Director Kash Patel said an investigation has been launched into these signal chat groups, as well as other funders of anti-ICE insurrections and riots, and Homan said a database will be launched for those stalking and attacking ICE, which would include their name and face, and it would contact their employers. An appeals court found evidence to charge Don Lemon over the church protest, and that church is considering lawsuits against those who stormed the building and terrorized children. President Trump announced he will personally be watching over the investigation into Alex Preddy's death by a border agent, saying, "I want a very honorable and honest investigation. I have to see it myself." In other immigration-related news, Texas Governor Greg Abbott suspended new H-1B visa petitions in all state agencies after abuse was uncovered by State Representative Brian Harrison, and the Department of Homeland Security purchased a $1 million warehouse in Maryland to convert it into an illegal alien detention center able to house about 1,000 migrants for deportation. Let's switch to fraud-related news. It was discovered that Minnesota Representative Ilhan Omar's winery suspiciously surged in value from close to $0 to $5 million in 1 year, despite no physical winery, phone line, social media, a barely functioning website, and no wine. Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison and the Minnesota Secretary of State are in a tizzy because the Department of Justice asked for the state's voter rolls, even though the department has requested voter rolls from all 50 states. Citizen journalist David Kate exposed that NGOs take billions in taxpayer dollars from the United States for refugee settlement, but then they subcontract the work out to third worlder-run buildings who have the migrants go on welfare. HUD Secretary Scott Turner revealed that over $5 billion in payment errors and over $50 billion in total rental assistance occurred in 2024 alone, with money going to 30,000 dead people, government-backed mortgages going to non-citizens, and public housing going to illegal aliens. Shifting to endorsements. President Trump endorsed Joe Mitchell to be the next representative for Iowa's 2nd Congressional District, Michael Alfonso to be the next representative from Wisconsin's 7th Congressional District, Congressman Tom Tiffany to be the next governor of Wisconsin, and State Treasurer Stacey Garrity to be the next governor of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Trump primary challenged Congressman Thomas Massie by endorsing Captain Ed Galbraith, Senator Greg Walker by endorsing State Representative Michelle Davis, and Senator Jim Buck by endorsing Tracy Powell. He also primary challenged Indiana State Senators Spency Deary by endorsing GOP Chair Paula Copenhaver, Greg Good by endorsing County Commissioner Brenda Wilson, and Eric Bassler by endorsing Jeff Ellington. Let's move on to President Trump's trip to Iowa. President Trump traveled to the Des Moines, Iowa area for a rally and to meet with supporters. He started with a stop at the Machine Shed restaurant in Urbandale, where he greeted supporters, interacted with locals, signed items like hats, and engaged in casual conversation. It had a rally-like atmosphere with enthusiastic crowds, and there are videos of him meeting people there. He then delivered a major speech at the Horizon Event Center in Clive, with a heavy emphasis on the economy, energy policy, and affordability. Key points from his remarks included touting lower gas prices, rising wages, tax cuts from legislation passed in his term, and economic growth. He proclaimed support for farmers, ethanol producers, and policies like year-round E15, and emphasized tariffs and trade deals that he said benefit U.S. agriculture. Trump strongly urged voters to support Republicans in the upcoming 2026 midterm elections to maintain congressional majorities and continue his agenda, and he framed this visit as an early kickoff for midterm campaigning, saying things like, "We've got to win the midterms," and highlighting Iowa's importance. This event drew hundreds or more supporters. Now it's time for the noteworthy tidbits, which are brought to you today by Old Glory. Let me tell you about them quick. Are you looking for a gift for a music lover, or maybe some apparel to show off your quirky side? Old Glory has you covered. With over 300,000 officially licensed items covering music, sports, entertainment, and pop culture, you're guaranteed to find the perfect item. They even have seasonal gear. My husband enjoys the Beatles and Led Zeppelin apparel, and I love the Billy Idol apparel. I even found items for my fellow plant enthusiasts. This family-owned superstore is known for their quality and customer service, offers free standard shipping on all orders, and orders are shipped the same day you purchase. My discount code gives you 15% off your entire order, and it's currently the best deal available. Just visit oldglory.com and enter in my promo code JADE, that's J-A-D-E, at checkout. All right, let's get back to the tidbits. A man charged Representative Ilhan Omar and squirted her with diluted apple cider vinegar, as confirmed by hazmat specialists. Some speculate this is staged due to Omar's behavior, but official investigations and charges treat it as a genuine assault with no evidence supporting staging claims. Even though the substance was not toxic, this is still an attack that should not be tolerated. President Trump signed an executive order to allow the feds to take over the Los Angeles wildfire rebuilding and permitting process. The last hostage body in Gaza was finally recovered and returned. President Trump increased tariffs on South Korea because they did not follow through on their trade agreement with the United States. Tariffs on autos, lumber, pharmaceuticals, and all other reciprocal tariffs received a 10% increase. The House moved forward with holding Bill and Hillary Clinton in contempt of Congress for disobeying a lawful subpoena. President Trump confirmed Venezuela is releasing its political prisoners at a rapid rate. An RMG poll found that Americans support President Trump's mass deportations by 10 points, 52% to 42%, and a Rasmussen poll found that President Trump's approval rating among Hispanics is plus 8 points, 53% to 45%. House Republicans are demanding Senate Majority Leader John Thune bring the SAVE Act to a floor vote and get it passed, as the House passed the act almost a year ago. After catching wind that Iraq might reinstall Nari al-Maliki as prime minister, President Trump warned the country that if they do so, he will stop helping them due to al-Maliki's insane policies and ideologies. The Trump administration is weighing options to oust the communist Cuban regime, including a naval blockade to choke off oil imports. Lastly, a Virginia judge struck down the state Democrats' push to gerrymander the state to gain more blue seats for the 2026 midterms. That's all I have for today. I'll be back with another update soon. Until then, please like, subscribe, and share this podcast, and follow me on Instagram and X at Shades of Jade Pod. Thank you for listening, and have a great day.